The Miami Dolphins, they've been doing some traveling, and we're going to talk about that. Also, they got a little extra cap space. Also, I got my neon sign. Also, I'll talk more about that. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, the beauty has arrived. It looks nothing like you're seeing it in person. I'll post a picture of it if I can, because I did take a picture of it. I'll post a picture of it. It looks so much better in person. It really does. The oranges and all that stuff. If I change the shutter speed, it flickers. So if any of you guys are good with neons and know how I can make it look the way it looks with my eyes, because I've already messed with the shutter speed to get it to stop flickering so much and all that stuff, comment below or hit me up in an email, because I need help. I want it to look like it does in the picture that I probably posted. So comment below. So we're going to talk about the Miami Dolphins and whose pro days they have gone to, essentially what schools. And from my understanding, they've gone to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pro days. And there's some names on those 6 pro days that they've gone to that are quite interesting and probably can give us a little bit of an idea. Now, it doesn't mean they're definitely going to draft any of these players from the pro days that they gone to. Maybe they went to these pro days and saw, something they liked or, something they didn't like or whatever. But they went to a bunch, like I counted. So we're going to check them out. I'm going to tell you some of the top names coming out of that school. But I do want to address something real quick. And this came out yesterday per Barry Jackson. And it's that per over the cap, the Dolphins have decided to charge only $2.2 million of Zach Wilson's $6 million salary and $6 million cap charge to this year's cap, giving Miami $21 million in cap space. That means Zach Wilson will have $3.8 million Finn's cap hit in 2026 when he's not under contract. And he says we'll see what Chris Grier has up his sleeve. So Chris Grier did some moving and grooving and moving of cap space. Now all of a sudden we have $21 million in cap space. Fantastic. Why? What was the point of that? Why did you allocate that? Why are we paying Zach Wilson next year when he's not on the team? A lot of questions that need to be answered. Maybe the moves will happen sooner rather than later. Maybe it's for Calais Campbell. Maybe it's for Teron Armstead to come back. Maybe he decided, hey, I'm not going to retire, so we need to all of a sudden allocate that money for Teron Armstead to come back. Whatever's going on, I don't know, but I'll keep you updated. So let's talk about where the Miami Dolphins have been and where have they gone. So recently, as of yesterday, the Miami Dolphins were at not all of the Miami Dolphins. New GM Marvin Allen, like Chris Kaufman has said, Dolphins assistant GM Marvin Allen, who's the director of college scouting for the Chiefs when they took Patrick Mahomes, and followed that up as national scout for the Bills as they took Josh Allen, was in Louisville for Tyler Shuck. Yes, that's how you say his name, pro day. So the man that has drafted Patrick Mahomes and has drafted Josh Allen was in Louisville for Tyler Shuck's pro day. Does that mean the Dolphins are going to draft Tyler Shuck? If it's for one of the fourths, like our second fourth or one of our fifths, I'm fine with that. I gave you my top 5 prospects. I had him at number 4. Go back and watch it. It came out Monday. Gave you my top 5 quarterback prospects. I had him at number 4. I told you my negatives. I told you my positives and where I would take him if they would take him. But there's also some other players that are there. Ashton Gillette, he's a defensive end. Quincy Riley, he's a corner. Thor Griffith, he is a defensive lineman. So those are possibilities of guys that they're looking at. But when I saw that, I was like, let me go back and kind of go over some schools that the Miami Dolphins have been to and talk about it, right? So the big one, the one that they really sent everyone at, was Georgia's pro day. Greer was there, McDaniel was there, Weaver was even there. And you got names like Malachi Starks, Michael Williams, the edge rusher, Jalon Walker, the linebacker, Tate Rutledge, the guard, but mostly Malachi Starks and Jalon Walker were the names that popped out at me, especially because Anthony Weaver was there. And those are possible names at 13, especially Malachi Starks, with the Dolphins not having a firm starting safety. So that is a name. They were also at Michigan State, and I went through and kind of looked at potential Michigan State drafted players. Correct me if I'm wrong. There ain't many. So again, please correct me if I'm wrong. But from my understanding, when you look at Michigan State, and like, especially if you go on PFF's big board, it's Luke Newman, their guard, but they have him at PFF rank of 311. So that's it. Again, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I would love to do more research on who Michigan State has. They also were at Texas. Jahad Barron, cornerback. A lot of people are wondering, Will Johnson or him? After doing my research and talking to a bunch of you guys, Will Johnson is more of a boundary corner and the better corner, whereas Barron is more of a slot corner. I wouldn't take a slot corner at 13. Calvin Banks, obviously junior, the tackle. That is a name that is constantly being brought up for the Dolphins. Alfred Collins, the defensive lineman, and Gunnar Helm, the tight end. All of those guys are possibilities for the Dolphins at some point throughout the draft. You have Syracuse. You have Kyler McCord, quarterback. I'm hearing good things about him. Also, my apologies, Ewers was Texas. I don't know why I didn't bring up Ewers, but he was also there. Syracuse, Kyler McCord, quarterback. LaQuint Allen, running back, and obviously Ordain Gadsden, the second tight end. And then you have Greer and McDaniel also at Ohio State, who had Josh Simmons, the tackle, who's coming off a knee injury. I would not take him at 13. I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Emak Egbuka, the wide receiver. I probably butchered his name. Tyleek Williams, the defensive lineman, Quinshawn Junkins, the halfback, and obviously Will Howard, the quarterback. There's somewhat of a common denominator, if you notice something, right? They were at Louisville, Tyler Shuck. They were at Texas, Ewers. They were at Syracuse, Kyle McCord. They were at Ohio State, Will Howard. These are all quarterbacks, and I have 3 of these quarterbacks on my top 5. I have McCord, I have Shuck, and I have Ewers. These are all guys you could take after their second, 4th pick. You know, the pick that we got for Christian Wilkins. These are all guys you can take in that realm. Now, the Dolphins aren't done. More pro days. You know, we just had Miami's was recently. Saw Cam Ward do fantastic things. If he's not the first overall pick to Tennessee, I don't know what Tennessee's doing. We saw Taylor, Jason Taylor's son, do some great things with LSU. What that tackle Williams had to say about the fact of his arms being short and no one noticed it before the combine was very eye-opening. So it's going to be interesting to see. But we had other pro days. We're going to have more pro days. And obviously the Dolphins are doing their due diligence and they're sending everyone out. But this is a very important draft for this front office. And a very important draft for Chris Greer. And a very important draft for Mike McDaniel. Because you need to get at least 3 starters out of this draft. At minimum, 3 starters. Like first day starters. Like kickoff, September, whatever. Against whoever. They're starting. You got to get at least 3 of them because you have positions that need it. Left guard, defensive line, corner 2, safety. We need starters in those positions. And there's still vets out there and there's still free agents that, if added, can definitely help this team in those positions. And I will talk about that maybe next week. But there's still possibilities out there. But this draft, Chris Greer has had a ton of hits. He's had a lot of misses. He needs to hit now. Like, if you ever, how the term is, hot seat, yada, yada. His seat is literally on fire. He's sitting there and he's just on fire. He needs to hit on these draft picks, specifically the first three. Like, he has to. He did it with Waddle, Phillips, and Javon Holland. One of them's not here anymore. The other one tends to get injured, not to a fault of his own. And Waddle's Waddle. We got a contract extension. I think he's going to be our future number one when Tyreek's not here. He needs to hit on these. And he went to a bunch of schools that you're gonna have possibilities in: Malachi Starks, in Jalen Walker, in Calvin Banks, in Gunnar Helm, in Ordain Oronde. I don't know, Oronde Gadsden. He's a possibility at tight end. Quinshawn Junkins. Like, these are names that could be legit day one starters, and you went and visited all of them. Then obviously you have a ton of backup quarterbacks that you can draft in Will Howard, in Tyler Shuck, in Ewers, in Kyle McCord. Out of all the names that they saw, Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, if they take him, I'd be happy. Again, he's my number 3 behind Dart and Milroy. And I would have Shuck higher if he wasn't so much older and so injury prone. But it's getting interesting. It's getting very interesting. We're getting closer to the draft. Then you're going to start having players meet with the Dolphins at the Dolphin facility. And I think they're limited to 13 visits, if my memory is correct. So, they're going to pro days, and then you're seeing, these prospects of meet the Dolphins in Miami. It's going to be a lot. It's about a month. It's now a month from the draft, so things are going to heat up. I don't know if we're going to get a lot more free agent signings. We're going to get sprinkles here and there, but I think a lot of the big guys like Simmons and like Scherf and Calais Campbell, all those guys are going to wait till after the draft. Then you're going to see a big signing after the draft, especially when the June 1st money comes in. So it's going to be very interesting. Comment below. What are your thoughts on the schools that the Dolphins have visited? What are your thoughts on the cap space that was cleared by moving around Zach Wilson's money, and we're now sitting at $21 million? Comment below. Let me know what you guys think of all that. And I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to break down the running back prospects. But like usual, stay classy. If it's up.